One percenters, welcome back. Host Tommy, SGA, thinking basketball. Why is he so elite in isolation? I like him, but I'm gonna sound like a hater probably. Let's find out.
Continues to improve every season, and he's turned into one of the most unstoppable isolation scorers in the league. He has this slippery, herky-jerky style that's difficult to contain.
It seems like the league's going through. James Harden was the first guy they let go crazy, Mike D'Antoni. And then it was like, I guess before it was Kyrie Irving, then James Harden, who spammed it to death. Then you got Luka. Now we're on to SGA. I mean, people get bored of isolation players and they just move on.
Daigneault puts him in excellent position to maximize those skills. Everything starts with Shea's driving lanes. I'm not sure there's...
He doesn't start with his driving lanes. Good Lord, it starts with your coach letting you dribble 20 million times. You can do whatever you want when you have free reign. When you have the skills, you have the freedom. It does not start with driving lanes. Are you crazy? If you give really elite NBA basketball players, any player, unlimited space and time or unlimited time, they can do whatever they want.
Who does more damage attacking open space on either side of his defender than SGA. And so the Thunder pull on attacking.
God, I'm a hater. That's an easy pass and kick pass and a shoot, right?
Open space on either side of his defender than SGA. And so the Thunder pull on defenses to open up those driving lanes for Gilgeous-Alexander. Look at the space. The Thunder pull on defense.
Dort runs right up through the gut
to open up those.
And SGA goes right at him. Okay, this guy's worried about getting hit. Luka has no idea what to do.
Look at the spacing on this play. A big man's in the corner. This player fans out to create this space in the middle of the floor. Shea slips by his man and then slithers in between some defenders. Even when they just clear out the side for him, there's a little wrinkle. The big man is spaced up high to pull out a shot blocker. And when multiple defenders collapse on the drive...
What does SGA do well? He's not afraid of contact. He has great stopping ability. He's very comfortable in the paint, poised with his pivots. What he's lacking, he's not very explosive. He doesn't have a really good two-dribble pull-up. Kind of a standstill three-point shooter. Yeah.
A guard cuts,
and it's a very average to below average athleticism
back into that open space as an outlet valve. Remember what teams are trying to do with great penetrators like this. They're building a wall in front of them to close off those driving lanes. One thing OKC does is come down and set a flare screen for the trailing shooter. And this basically pulls the help defender right out of the way, so Shea has a driving lane, and that's free throws.
Do you really consider this isolation? They're setting up a stagger
so Shea
or a flare.
Has a driving lane, and that's free throws. In those spots, the nearest defender wants to come over and build that wall to stop the drive. But then he's tractor beamed out of there by this screen for a shooter like Chet Holmgren. And so if Shea is cut off heading left, he has space to spin back and finish to the right.
You don't think most NBA players can do this move?
If Shea is cut off heading left, he has space to spin back and finish to the right. Even when the defense doesn't overreact to the flare screen and still sits in that driving lane, Shea crosses the other way and does the rest himself. And still sits in...
Brandon Miller's worried about the action that's happening up top. He has a big old gap because to the right, because the guy's in the corner. You got a shooter in the corner.
Driving lane, Shea crosses the other way and does the rest himself.
Terrible defense, PJ Washington.
There are no big bodies left to help, and that's just great touch.
No big men down low.
OKC likes to have Holmgren screen and pop out to the three-point line. And that's another way to create a little space to attack a shot blocker away from the rim. And notice how good Shea is at hitting a gap as the defender is
These are straight line drives. He's at the slot and just driving straight.
But Chet's gravity pulls his man out of the way, and Shea was just waiting for the seas to part there to explode downhill. Another trick is Shea was just waiting for the seas to...
Okay, so the patience here, this guy doesn't know whether to leave or go back. Jalen Suggs doesn't know If he's staying or leaving, that's bad communication,
there
and you're not leaving the corner
to
shooter.
explode downhill. Another
So that's
trick is
knowing
Shea was
principles
just waiting for the
of the
C's
defense.
to part there to explode downhill. Another trick is screening for the screener to create alleys for him to attack. This standard elbow screen distracts defense.
Okay, so when I'm coaching players, the number one rule of the offense is to occupy your defender. And so when I say it's easier to get open off the ball than on the ball, like all of these other guys are worried about all this movement going off the ball. The two guys in the corner, they're basically camped out there for spacing. Defensive principles, basically, you don't help off the corner shooter because the corner shooter is the easiest three-pointer. So if these other two guys are in some type of action, screen the screener, flaring away, setting up a stagger, defenses are thinking about it. Number 26 is already on the wrong side of the defense. If Shea were actually thinking about passing and number 6 just slipped to the rim, that would be an easy dunk. But 26 is already on the wrong side of the defense. So there's already problems like how players are positioned. This game is about logistics, like positional people chess logistics, like the movement of people on a correct time. So those guys are worried about this screen happening. They think the ball's coming
So
to
look at all this space to attack.
whoever's coming across.
And Shea
And Shea's just lulling his guy to
goes
sleep.
in the middle of the dribble.
So as soon as those guys get into that action, that's when Shea goes.
To blow right past the defender for easy offense. This
And
is
since
hacked,
he's
and Shea goes in
semi-slow and not super
the
explosive,
middle of the dribble to blow right.
the corner guy comes over to just take the foul when he normally shouldn't. That's looks like Malcolm Brogdon.
Defender for easy offense. This is his patented rope-a-dope move, where he accelerates halfway through the bounce as the ball's coming back to his hand. And this looks like an idle dribble, but he's actually accelerating as it falls between his
Great for
legs,
slow people like
charging
me.
up that back foot and getting lower to the ground to explode by his man. So when you
Definitely
pair
not
this
charging
with
up
a
no back
screen the
foot.
screener action, defenders are busy coordinating switches and coverages, and Shea can just look like he's waiting for it to develop.
This is just a delayed between. You go through your legs to get to the ball to the other side, and then when it's in your hand, you actually take off. Defense cannot stop you. You have the decision to go first. Once you go first, then they have to react. Can they cut you off? Okay, you get half a step. You're leaning. You're in the hinge position I talk about. Okay, get your chest to the floor. Get your shoulders down. Instead of a squat where the defense is in a squat, you're already losing.
All that space.
Okay, you get by him. Then you force help.
He sees Rudy Gobert come over, so
Then you just got some decisions from here.
he takes the pull-up instead. The other thing to remember here is that Shea himself can step back into that space for a mid-ranger. So his prolific middle game is really an extension of his driving game as a counter to when he's walled off.
Right, if you go anything by analytics, these are all bad shots. These mid-range shots.
As a counter.
Okay, he's not athletic. He's not going over these guys. So you got to learn how to settle into these soft spots. Okay, so when you're working on your game, there's certain shots. You got to learn where your spots are and where you're going to get your shots. And you just beat these shots to death.
When he's walled off.
So many guys over practice like they're going to be all over the court.
Clog up those lanes. But then he'll just slam on the brakes and go to the mid-range. And this one is against his cousin, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who knows his mid-dribble acceleration trick, reacts perfectly, so Shea just crosses back through his legs, and that's some insane deceleration off that right leg. So much of Gilgeous-Alexander's driving game is about these sudden bursts of acceleration paired with stopping on a dime. So defenders are often chasing him around,
Said it a million times, build your brakes.
after he slams on the brakes.
First thing to go when you get old like me, dude, those brakes.
Ankle mobility to get low and contort in different directions. And his back leg often drags on the ground like a braking force. And look at how far apart his legs are there.
Do you know how much strength you need in that front leg and ankle to do that?
The man's dragging
relative to your own body weight.
A rudder behind him for balance and even to change.
So if you notice, the three best isolation players, James Harden, Luka, and SGA. very, very good at stopping and changing directions. You don't need elite speed for basketball to be effective offensively. If you have elite speed and agility, you'll be like an all-time great defender if you actually think about playing defense.
Directions, and some of these leg positions look more like yoga poses than basketball
That's
moves.
just a normal move. Come on.
Now,
bro.
when defenses really load up on his drives, positions look more
Do
like
I? Oh man, whoever this guy, he must have never played basketball or something, or he's just really good at over-exaggerating some of these things.
yoga poses than basketball moves. Now, when defenses really load up on his drives, the Thunder's spacing gives him clear passing targets to good outside shooters. Or the other counter you'll see when they load up on Shea is a well-timed cut into that open space.
Jalen
But
Williams
he
is going to be a
also
stud,
has his
man.
own counter using that step back. to
Jalen
create
Williams has potential to be the guy on Oklahoma City. So if SGA, if defenders played more disciplined, if he just happens to get a longer, more athletic defender on him, he's never going to score. Same thing with Luka and Harden. If you get those longer guys like that are disciplined and athletic, these guys have a hard time getting a shot off down the clutch. Jalen Williams is bigger, stronger, more athletic, and has potential, man.
space all the way out to the three. So when teams
As much
build
as I
a
like
wall
SGA.
in early offense, he just feigns a drive and hops back into a clean triple. He'll do this in the half court too, often
improved his
dragging
three-point
that
shooting.
back leg before stepping back. But he really loves it in semi-transition, wet court two,
If you're really trying to be elite,
often drag
an elite mover. All elite athletes are elite movers. It's about movement. It's about being athletic, being the best athlete.
that
And everybody who trains, I'd say 90% only train on like the straight forward plane, front and back. You have to add the twist.
Back
You have
leg.
to learn how to twist your body like this. You got to be able to turn your hips, get the rotation in your ankles. Everybody who hurts their knees, they don't know how to twist. They don't have enough hip and ankle mobility, spine mobility.
before stepping back, but he really loves it in semi-transition while teams are walling up on him. And the move works so well because defenses are concerned about that driving game. And
You see
because
the same
defenders
move
are
over and
conditioned
over.
to
It's
give
an
up
in and out
long
stab.
twos. So stepping inside the line triggers a backpedaling instinct in a league where threes and paint touches are heavily valued. We tracked all of his off-the-dribble threes from above the break this year, and an incredible 89%
You
have come
you see
off
what move you got to
step
work
backs.
on if you're
So
kind of
Shea
slow.
basically never walks into threes, but jabs like this to create space and hop back into them.
Okay,
He actually loves this
What is
move
that,
so
5
much
times?
that he'll do it when he's wide open. And he's seen a major spike this season from 30% up to 39% on these
It's,
threes. So do
here,
it
let
when
me
he's
show you how to do
wide
it.
open. And he's seen a major spike this season from 30%
it's a little in and out dribble.
up to
Okay, and then you
30.
tap with the left. Okay, so you got to be able to shift your weight really quick. If you're not super strong, like Kemba Walker step backs, these are not normal step backs.
9% on these threes.
Okay, you got to do
it
an
when
in
he's
and out with the
wide
left.
Open.
Okay, you got to
And
delay
he's
your
seen a
pickup.
major spike this
You have
season
to shift your weight from the right to the left, and then you hop back.
from 30% up to
Right foot,
39.
left foot, hop back, land on two. High pickup. You see the ball's already at his chin. Okay, you can't pick it up down by your thighs like Trae Young.
9% on these threes. So if that holds, it makes him percent up to 39. It makes him
Okay,
deadly.
misdirection. Okay, right leg, then left leg, then back on two, and then by the time he's in position 3, right, ankles, knees, hips, all should be bent. Ball, elbow, palm underneath the ball.
All 3 levels of the court. Take a possession like this one, where Paul George doesn't backpedal too hard, so Shea drives. They wall that off, so he stops for a mid-range. A 4th defender takes that away, and that's enough for Jalen Williams to attack a closeout. This time he's in early offense, and the jab step sets Williams
What
to
they need to
attack a
do-
closeout.
If I'm coaching
This time
against,
he's in early offense, and the jab step sets up the drive.
I'm coaching
and if they
against
send
SGA.
help, he can hit the
okay, make
corner
him
shooter
pass that because he
easily.
doesn't want to.
And
He's
so
going to
a ton
over
of his
dribble.
drives are towards that stretch
Anyway.
Williams to attack a
Right here. He's going to over
Close it
dribble.
off so he stops for a
Right here.
mid-range.
Wait for him to hang this before you go over help.
A
Okay, wait until he actually jumps up into the air, Kawhi Leonard.
fourth defender
Like, you're a little bit too eager there. Just let him decide what he's going to do
takes
and then contest a shot because he doesn't jump very high.
that away, and that's enough for
So
Jalen
Kawhi
Williams
was
to
a little
attack
too
a
early on that.
closeout. This time he's in early offense, and the jab step sets up the drive, and if they send help, he can hit the corner shooter easily. And so a ton of his drives are towards that strong side corner where this defender doesn't want to leave a nearby shooter to help. So Shea is constantly want to leave.
So easy when you know all the rules are in your favor. He has great coaching. He doesn't mind the contact a lot. Like, sooner or later, the referees are gonna. I mean, the referees won't catch on. Other players will catch on and do all the same stuff, and scoring is gonna be so easy. You just collide. You're creating all this contact. You're jumping into that guy. Boom. You get balanced, and then you shoot.
Help. So Shea is constantly looking for these driving creases, and the Thunder are constantly trying to create them. Watch this move they use against the help defender, shading toward the ball. The wingman exchanges spots with the low block, and that opens up the middle of the floor.
The defender,
and Shea's shiftiness
run
does
through,
the rest to create
go into the gap.
offense. The Thunder do stuff like this a bunch, just reshuffling pieces to distract defenders, and even when his man stays in front of him, he can fade away from the mid-range. Shea shooting 51% on mid-range twos this season, and the strength and balance he's added over the years makes this such a deadly counterpart to his driving
Great
game
balance, great
into
pivots.
space.
Good poise.
I love this setup where a screen is coming, but it's a fake that pulls a defender right out of the way. So Shea works his magic
Positional
by
logistics.
slow rolling.
This guy thinks the screen is coming. He's flat. Davion Mitchell. He's not giving up either way. He's trying to be a dog.
Black
Right? As soon as Keegan Murray gets out of there, Shea
stay
goes.
out of there, and
Right? You can take a chance. You're a little bit further from the
then
rim.
you can decelerate
But who's that back there? That's not a shot blocker.
and finish at the
Okay. Cut him off.
free
Wait for him to get back in front.
throw line. Here's another wall in transition.
Spam your
The Thunder
moves.
cut to remove that help defender, and that creates enough room to get to that pull-up. And sometimes it's just pristine spacing. Williams realizes he should stretch to the corner. That pulls his defender out of the lane, and Shea goes to the bag of tricks against Gobert. The overall result is
Right? Oh my God, this is. I mean, do you guys like this?
one of the most dominant isolation scorers in the game. Among players with 100 ISOs, according to Synergy, only Kawhi Leonard is more efficient this season, although Shea, the 100 overall result, is one of the most dominant isolation
How many
scorers in the game.
how many dribbles do we
Among
let these
players with
guys have?
100 ISO,
Like if you're playing or you're getting coached or whatever, they're saying king of the court, you get 3 dribbles, right? Dribbles is never your limiting factor. Like in a game, you can take as many dribbles as you want. Like I said, if Giannis were smart, if these bigger guys were smart, they would clear out the whole side and they would just back down sideways. Okay, not back down like post-up stance, closed stance, just back down the whole side like Jason Kidd or Mark Jackson. You walk backwards down a court, the guy's got to be on your shoulder, and you just turn over your shoulder and shoot. Put all the other guys on the other side.
those, according to Synergy,
Like, if you let an elite guard ball handler just dribble like crazy,
only Kawhi Leonard is more efficient this season. Although Shea runs
Basketball's
nearly
so
twice
easy.
as
People
many
don't understand
isolations
it. The rules
and is
are so
able to
set up
stop,
for offense.
start, and spin his way into whatever space the Thunder can carve out for him. Coach Mark Dagnall and his surrounding teammates have done a tremendous job of shaping and manipulating
look, this is like so, like, what are these guys doing? I mean, this is American basketball at its best.
the court
You have one guy do everything,
to
and then you got 4 guys playing off him. So it's like the lead singer in a band, and then all
this
the
incredible
accompanying pieces.
driving game. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's unique athleticism and skill set have done the rest to propel him into the heart of the MVP race.
I mean, I don't think he'll win MVP. Maybe. I don't know. Harden won it.
You can get
It might be Luka's year. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think, man. I knew I would sound like a hater. I mean, he's elite at what he does. Stylistically, is it really what I like? Sure, if I'm the one guy doing everything. But if I'm the other four guys just standing and watching or having to play off this guy, maybe not. I've been both guys. What do you guys think? Let me know. Until next time, take 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of your day to get better. Peace.